Hi everyone, thank you for joining me today. So today's video is a part of the My Little Scrapbook Store uh, weekend summer crop, and in doing so I'm going to use a Happy Scrappy bag that I got from Michelle. She's a really great person. I've got to meet her a couple of times when I went up to New Jersey for some crops, and I also follow her on Facebook as well as most of you who are watching. And I love the lives, looking at all the new products, and that's how I got this scrappy bag. So this is the Truly Grateful collection from Pink Paisley with was it Paige Evans, and I'm just showing you all the pieces that I have. I may wind up using this like one of the words from here. I'm not completely sure, but I was just kind of looking through the words right there. There were two ephemeras. This one has some phrases on it, butterflies, which we're going to use on the sketch that we're going to be doing today. And what I like is like even some of the pieces in here have some foil accents. And then this one is all about flowers. So there's a clusters of flowers. I'm not going to use that one because you do get some flowers in the other one, but I wanted to show it to you anyway. And then these are the sticker sheets, which we may use some of those, some of the words, some stars and hearts. This one is, you know how they have the puffy stickers? This one is very similar to that. It's a different texture, but I love the words and stuff. And I wind up using the together and some of the circles, the different size circles, like enamel box. And then these are fun too. I think this is my second set of those alphas. They're fun, and I'm going to be using those on the title. Okay. So I'm just trying to look through, make sure, because I want to use what came in the scrappy bag together. Okay. So that's what I'm just trying to look through. All right. So I already selected my photo. This is me and my best friend, Beatrice. She had a live on, if you're watching this, I think it was this afternoon, because you should be able to see this on Saturday. Yes. So you should have seen her live. That was us at the Cropper's Delight this past January at the My Favorite Things. And I selected two papers, one from the 12 by 12 pad, and then one that was a specialty paper. And the specialty paper has that hint of foil that some of those ephemera pieces I was telling you have. So I'm going to take it out of its packaging. Now this one, the specialty paper, I think I got separate, but it was part of, the Truly Grateful collection. So I just put it in the scrappy bag. So that way I can keep it together. And the specialty paper, I think I'm going to put for the top half, and the polka dots for the bottom half. And normally what I would do is just cut um, the specialty paper and put it on top of the other pattern paper and call it a day. Well, I wanted a little bit more strength. So I do wind up grabbing a 12 by 12 piece of white cardstock from Basil, the marshmallow white, because it has a little bit of weight to it. So let me start by grabbing my cutter. All right. And at first, I'm not sure, like, I don't know if you guys ever have this issue with the sketches that you're following, which I have up here in the upper right corner of the screen for you. Um, you kind of are guessing at the sizes, right? So what I like to do is I laid it down at the 3 inches, and I'm like, I don't like that width. So I'm like, let me go to 4 inches. If it winds up being too big, I can always cut it down. I can't make the paper grow, right? So I always try to err on the side of too big, so then that way I still have room to trim down. So once I did 4 inches on that, I knew the polka dot paper had to be 8 inches because I'm doing this 12 by 12 um, layout page. So here's the marshmallow, and I'm going to tape those both down to the marshmallow sheet, and that's going to be our the base of our layout right there. Okay, so, and I have an idea of what I want to do for that middle section, because on the sketch there is like a little border. So I'm going to take it old school, and you'll see in a second what I mean by that. So let's get this attached real quick. So I'm just going to go around using my ATG gun. And I want to say Michelle has these too. I know you can get the refills for it. I'm almost 100% sure you can get the refills for those from her. And she also has that art glitter glue, which if you guys have never used art glitter glue, and you're probably asking, why are you using both? I use both because I've experienced in my crafting life stuff lifting, and I don't like when it does that. So I always use the ATG tape and art glitter glue because I feel like it gives it that more adhesion. But on the other side, it also gives me wiggle room, because if you've ever used ATG tape, you put that sucker down, it ain't coming up. It just ain't. As soon as you put it down wrong, it's like locked in like cement. But if you use the wet glue, it gives you a few seconds where if you start to lay it down wrong, you can pick it right back up. And I am very grateful for that time. So if you ever experience that where you aren't able to get something up and you're afraid of ripping it or destroying it, start using the wet glue with the ATG tape, and you'll be happy, let me tell you. Otherwise, just use wet glue, because the wet glue is strong by itself, especially the art glitter glue, but it gives you time. It gives you time to move stuff around before it starts to adhere. You know, that's what I look for, because you don't always get stuff on straight. Like even this top half here, I was putting it on and I was like, oh, I put it too far over to the left, so I had to like kind of like push it, slide it, and then it was even, and I was happy. So now I'm going to lay this on my cutter at the 12 inches and cut my little trim off, because the basil does have a border strip at the top. All right. And I love this cutter. I've had it forever. Yeah, it gets a little, it feels like sometimes the papers are a little crooked. I don't know how we prevent that, but I refuse to get rid of it. I know how to use it so well, like it just works. So, this is what I'm going to do. At first, I was going to use this 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper that I had. And I was thinking, you know what, let's do a little, accent strip for that border that's on the sketch. And we're going to pull out a couple of punches. Have we all forgotten the punches? I know we got the cutting machines and all this other stuff, but I still use some of my punches every once in a while. I like this one because it has sort of like that scallopy look. And then this one is more like a detail. And I was trying to cut through this paper, and I realized, you know what? When it comes to punches, thickness does matter with the paper. So I like to do that. I'll grab a piece of paper, test it out, see if I like that image, the way it's looking. And if I don't, then there's more section here. I can um, just do a quick punch of this one. And then I'm going to trim with just my hand scissors real quick this little section out of it, because once you punch all the way down, that strip would come off. But I wanted to see, okay, I like this on the design. But I just want to double check and make sure that I'm not missing out using my scallop. I think it's called like a lace scallop. And then I'm just looking at, do I like that one? I think I like, yeah, I like this one more. I like the peaks. I think it looks not fancier, but I just like how it stands off on that on the pattern paper. So instead of using that thicker paper I cut first, I'm gonna use, I have a strip of 12 by 12 black. It's a little textured, but it's still thinner. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut a strip at 1 inch, because at first I was thinking with the 1 inch strip I could do the pattern on the top and the bottom of one strip, and I think I wind up going back and just doing another 1 inch strip, but I'm gonna just punch this one real quick. Now this punch is from by Fisker, and it took me a while to get the system down with these things, but once you learn that the little side part where it's showing you the pattern, you're using that as a guide, so that way you slide it down and you punch and you'll have a continual line all the way. I've so many times mispunched using these things, but I think the key is when you punch it the first time, realizing, okay, so when I punch, it's making 3 of those. So if I just always make sure to go down to the like last 2, line those up, and then, and I don't know why, it's probably from the angle I was sitting, but it was hard to like line up on the right side, but it winds up working. It was a long strip, but there we go. And then once it lines up, punch, and then you have your strip. And see, at first I was gonna put it down like that, and then I was like, you know what, I'm gonna cut me another strip, and what I'll do is I'll put each end on the line, you know what I mean? Like, it's going, see, I was trying to test it here, I was like, nah, not enough room. So I can do, I could have done it like that and just had the one piece, and it's pretty, and that could have been it. But then I was like, you know, I really liked how it looked going up on the plat. So problem solved. Grab the cutter, cut 1 more inch of paper, and we'll have a top and a bottom. So bear with me, I'm just going to do it real quick. Normally I would fast forward, but I'm trying to see how it goes doing. Basically, like, I've sped it up a little bit, but it's not so fast where you're really missing like some of the steps and stuff like that. So um, I hope you guys are okay. I wanted to be a part of the live schedule, but unfortunately I have to work the entire weekend. So hopefully at the next crop that Michelle has, um, and she does a live series, maybe I can get up the courage and be a part of it. And be off. That would be great. Alright, we're finishing up. We're just lining up on the last part. And we're going to punch down. And then one more time, and this strip is finished. There we go. It's so easy for it to like get off centered. It drives me nuts. Because this pattern, it's very busy. So it takes a minute. It's like, okay, I should have put my glasses on. They're up in the upper left hand corner, my little readers. Alright, so we'll get rid of the little bits and that strip. Sorry about that. Alright. So we have our top piece and our bottom piece. And it's going to go like that. Boop. And I like how that looks. Yep. Okay. So now to move on. Sorry about that. I had to make a quick stop. I'm going to put some clear gesso in a section of where I'm going to put my photo and do a little bit of my decorating with my ephemera pieces. So I'm just using, this is a tool from Nuvo. I want to say it came in a 2 package. Yeah, it was this one and this one. I want to say Michelle at one point had these there too. I've gotten a lot of stuff from Michelle. Don't tell anybody, okay? Don't let anybody know. It's my little secret. And her shipping is so quick. It really is. She's a great place, a great store, and a really nice person. So I definitely enjoy shopping from her store. All right, so we're scraping on the clear gesso. And what I like about this little tool here is that it's silicone, so it's definitely puts it on smooth. I can like blend it out because I just need a little layer. I'm not doing like a crazy ton of mixed media, but we are going to do some. Alright, so I'm going to put the rest into the jar, and then I'm just going to grab a paper towel real quick and clean off my tool, and it's just that simple. It comes off so easy with those. And because I tried to thin it out, it was a little wet, so I'm just going to hit it real quick with my heat tool, try and help the process go by a little quicker so we can start with our colors. And then it was funny, my crafting buddy and best friend Beatrice and we were talking about our heat tools, and that is my third heat tool. I'm like, okay, so do I just emboss way too much? I don't know, but I have burned up two. Alright, so this is, what is that company called? I have it right here. This is Magical from Lindy Stamping, and it's called Pink Ladies Pink. This one is a flat color. It doesn't have any shimmer in it. And what I like about this one, I thought it would give me just a nice color, a nice pink to go with the plaid, but it winds up being a little bit on the lighter side. You'll see here in a second. So I'm taking some packaging. I took it from the Tailored Expressions strips, which I got at the crop in January from Michelle's store. I'm putting a little bit of that powder down. I'm hitting it with some water, and then we're going to flip this over and start creating little smushes and moving the color around. And it was right here where I was like, okay, it's not doing bad on the polka dot side, but on the upper part, it's not making any difference. So I'm like, okay, so we got to figure out something that's going to stand out more. And there's a hint of purple in this collection, and I have a Heidi swap. It's called Amethyst, and I don't get to use it that often, but it's a really pretty purple. The only problem is, because I don't use it often, a lot of the pigment settles to the bottom. So I'm trying to hit it here, get it moving, so that way it gets off the bottom. It does have a ball inside of it. I'm gonna try and wait. Here you go. Can you hear it? That little clicky noise. Yeah. So they suggest when you're using inks like that, that you kind of shake it side to side not up and down like you would like a like product or something like that, you know, when you're trying to shake it, because I guess doing it up and down, it can get pigment stuck inside the tunnel where it comes out of, for the spray. So I always try and do it side by side, whether it's this one, Tim Holtz, because sprays like this, they have that mica in it or any type of that pigment, that the coloring part. You just want to get it mixed up. And sometimes it takes a little bit because, you know, if it's settled down to the bottom, just make sure you shake it really well before you start using it. And then boom, look at that color. Oh, I love it. And it stands out on the plaid. And with the smooshing, you can just press down kind of like I was doing where I was like tap tap tap, or you can lay it down and move your hand to kind of like move it to the different areas in a more smooth method. But if you want that little bit of texture, then just go up and down, kind of like how I was doing at the beginning. And then anywhere where if it's too sharp of an edge and you want it spread out, you could always grab a brush and kind of just move it around with a brush, a little bit of water to kind of fade it out. I don't mind mine having that harsh edge because I'm trying to highlight that section where I'm going to put the photo, and you're not even going to see all of that, but the parts that peek out, I'm going to like in the end. So I'm going to grab that heat tool again because I don't want to keep you guys here all night. Oh, that's the other thing. I'm putting down a little bit of the Heidi Swipe Color Shine in the gold. Just in a couple of sections because I want that little bit of shimmer. And I'm just taking a paper towel after I spray it down, and I'm just going to kind of tap it and spread it out so it has a similar look to what the purple was doing, but with that hint of gold. And I'm not doing it everywhere because I really don't want to waste the color shine, and I didn't want the picture to cover all of it. So I'm trying to go as far down and on the outer upper edge to protect, you know, so that way, because I don't want to waste the color shine. The gold color shine, you can't find it anywhere. I happened to find it in a Tuesday morning. They had it in like a 3-pack and it's a super skinny bottle. So I hoard it as much as I can. And then we're just going to heat it up again. Trying to make sure everything is dry before we move on. Alright. And it is going to cause a little bit of warping, because just remember, even though I use the clear gesso, these papers aren't really meant for mixed media. It's not like they're watercolor paper or stuff like that. So you just have to be aware. You can always try and flatten it out overnight. I know there's some people who say, you know, they take their 12 by 12 paper pads and put them on top of it, and it helps flatten it. But right now, we don't have time for that. So we're gonna keep on moving and put down the border strip. I put down a strip of the ATG tape. I hit it with a little bit of the art glitter glue, and then I'm laying that down. And then we're gonna do the same thing with the bottom piece. And I could have put those down first and then did the mixed media. I don't know. I just felt like I wanted to do the mixed media first and then put that on top. I like the way that the media part of it looks like it's underneath, even though, like I said, that section there for me is going to be hidden with most of the photo, you know what I mean? So it probably doesn't matter, but it was my preference. And then as you can also see I had to kind of push it over there. That's that wet glue helping me get it over some. It's a little short on the one side, but it's not going to bother me. We're just going to keep it moving. And I have some of these peel-offs that are just in my collection, and they're super thin strips, and I'm going to use it to kind of hide where these papers are meeting in the center. And then I'm going to do another piece going off of the side there. I know it's going to be covered by the photo, so if they don't meet, or I think I'm able to get them to meet in the center, but you're not going to see, like that little line where they meet. You're not going to see that because it's underneath the photo. And I'm just going to trim enough off on the side that I can tuck this on the other side. I'm just going to fold it under and then fold that piece under. Alright. And then once that's down, we're going to go ahead and trim down the photo. And at first, I was going to try and do this more like a 4x4 because this is 4x6 picture. But I decided that I wanted to trim down all that white space that's above our heads. So I decided to make that 3 inches. And I did that by looking at where, laying it down on the cutter. And I realized, okay, there's going to be a little space above our head. I like that. So I did the 3. And then lengthwise, I was going to do 3. And I was like, no, that's going to cut into her face. And then I went to 4 inches, and it was cutting off most of her shoulder. So I decided to trim it right at her shoulder. So that way we're just framed right there in the photo. I'm like, that's perfect. And I'm going to put my mats underneath. And sometimes I do this. I'll double mat. So I was going to put the white underneath the photo, but it's too white against the background. So I'm going to do a black mat so that the photo stands out off the black, and then put the white underneath the black so that way it's not blending too much into the border strip, because I want to create a difference between the two. So for my measurements, because you figure, I think my photo wound up being 5 1/8 by 3, so I just went 1/4 of an inch bigger. So I made the width 3 1/4, and the length of it I made it 5 3/8, because I just wanted a 1/4 inch border, a bigger border than like 1/8 of an inch going all the way around the photo. And then I just did another 1/4 inch for the white. So instead of it being 3 1/4, I made it 3 1/2 by 5 5/8. Those eighths get a little like, woo. Alright. Now we're going to put our photo together. And I'll even use the art glitter glue on my photo. It's probably not a good thing, but I don't care. I'm not trying to make it, what do they call it? I forget. There's a word, but it's slipping my brain at the moment, so we're just going to move on. But I just wanted to make sure that it doesn't pull up. That is my biggest fear. Ugh, I hate that. Because I've seen stuff like cards I've made in the past, like when I first started crafting, or layouts I tried to make when I first started, and stuff is falling off or it's peeling off, and it's like, that's the worst. So for me, the wet glue allows me to do that. I can pick it up, move it around, and I know once it is down and it's glued, it ain't coming apart. Alright, so now I'm going to lay that there, and I'm going to grab some of the ephemera pieces, our items, that I want to use to decorate, and I'm just going to kind of start laying some stuff out, you know what I mean? You don't know until you start looking and playing, and this one is so long, I was like, oh, that would be really cute, kind of sneaking out from the bottom, so I'm going to leave that right there. There was this pink one, I kind of like that one up there, and a leaf, okay. And then there was a little tiny purple one. My thumb lands on it. I'm going to put that one up at the top too. I was thinking maybe I could use that hello. It's nice and big, but I didn't want hello as for my title. There it is. That's the purple one. So we're going to do that as a cluster. And then I found this one. It said picture perfect. I was like, oh, that'd be so cute. Because our lanyards were purple, and that like matches it almost perfectly. So I'm going to put it right there. And then, okay, so I decided that was all I wanted from that section. I am going to pull out the top one and go through it. I want to say it's up in there that I find the butterflies that we wind up using. And I really like on this particular collection, I don't know if they started doing it for all of them, but even though it's a pain in the butt, I appreciate that closure, because sometimes you get those double packs and there's no closure, so you have to like tear it apart, and then figuring out how to store it is a nightmare. So I like the fact that I can put this back in and it'll look good. So this piece right here, I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna put maybe at the bottom. I know it's not on the sketch that way where there's like another little cluster piece, but I'm like, that would be super cute. I like the grateful with the pumpkin, but I'm not going to use that. So we're going to use the one with the butterfly. So that's butterfly number 1. Alright, and then I think there's a loose butterfly I wind up finding in here. Yep, there's 2. Okay, so I got that one, and we got the bigger one. I think I'll put that one right there, and then that one there, and we'll put those back in. And then with the sticker sheet or anything that has adhesive on the back, I grab wax paper, and I'll tend to put them down on the wax paper, which is what I'm doing here. I'm just trying to pull a couple of sheets off. Excuse me. I do that because it'll come back off of the wax paper. It doesn't stay down permanently, and I can pull out things or items that I may be interested in using, and instead of trying to lay it down somewhere and not get it to stick forever, it's a good place, a good idea, because you can always move it around too and not worry about it sticking. I do that with my titles a lot of the times too. So like, see, this bigger or smaller sticker is actually almost the same exact one as that big one. So I wind up putting it down because I was like, maybe I'm not going to use that. Excuse me, I got something in my throat. Okay. I like this little flower, and I was thinking maybe I could put it on the side. So I'm going to stick that to the wax paper as a possibility. And then I'm going to put down this butterfly, the sticker butterfly, and 3 hearts, because they have that foil accent. Alright. And then I'm looking through, oh, I found some stars that I wanted to use. I like using the hearts and stars as little accent pieces to add, you know, little pops of something something all around the design. And then I even grab, I think I have the wood buttons. I'm grabbing 3 of those next. I had to use the one with the butterfly in the center, right? I mean, hello. That one's a must. And then I'm just grabbing 2 more of the smaller ones. One in like a dark purple, like a dark plummy purple. And then I think I chose a lighter one. It has a pattern, like one of the pattern papers in it. And there we go. Alright. So I try to use 3 of anything. I try to keep it odd. Most of the times I try to use 3. If I have to go up to more, as long as it's an odd number, I'm good. That's usually the way that I look at it. Sometimes I do wind up making it even. It's not going to like, um, it's not like you're breaking the crafting law if you do, but I'm just saying, like, if you're trying to create a visual interest or what they call the triangle, usually threes is like the best way. Okay. So now I'm pulling out that together I had told you about from that sort of like a puffy sticker sheet, and then I'm going to grab the alphas stickers, and I decided that I wanted to make it fun together. And so each of the letters, there's like different colors. They have the greens, like each of the colors that's kind of in this rainbow of colors. So I just grabbed the pink. There's like a darker pink, a plum kind of color, which is what I use for the U, and then more of a lighter or hotter pink for the N, which I'm grabbing and gonna put right there. And like I said, by using the wax paper, I love it because you can see underneath. So I'm laying it there trying to see, okay, do I like this underneath the photo or to the side of the photo? Because of course on the sketch they have the title off to the side. But sometimes you don't want it there. So I love using the wax paper because it allows me to move my title anywhere I want on there until I figure out exactly where I like it, and then I can start putting it down. And just to give you guys a little tip, if you didn't know, if you use gesso on your layout, you have to, whatever you're putting or gluing down where that gesso is, use glue, because if you don't, it will pop off. Because for some reason the sticky back stuff really doesn't like the gesso. So if you put it just straight down, you will run the risk of it coming back up. So I'm just going to go ahead and start by putting the foam, some fun foam behind my photo. And now comes the fun part, the let's putting it together and gluing stuff down and really finishing out the layout. And I always like worry because I don't want to over do stuff, and it gets too crazily busy. Um, but I also like I do understand the joys of keeping it simple. Um, I think you just have to follow your gut. Once you have the aha moment of, you know what, that's it, I'm done. It's okay. Wherever it's at in the scale of things, it's okay. And I'm just putting some glue down on the sticker because I want to be ready to kind of put it under the photo after I put this piece down. I want to kind of get this ready so that way I can put it where I want it and then put the photo on top of it like that. There we go. Okay. Okay. So what I'm going to do, move the photo real quick, and I'm going to put these flower pieces down. And if you ever have a cluster set up and you're afraid that you're going to mess up how you have it set up, you can actually grab press and seal, press down on the cluster, lift it up, and then put your glue behind it while it's all kind of still put together, and then lay it back down in the spot that you want it. It's a great trick, a great hack. I want to say, if you guys are on YouTube and you don't know who Jennifer McGuire is, check her out because she has some great tips and tricks like that. How to use your press and seal, a kitchen item, while you're crafting. Amazing. Alright. And then we're going to put this piece down. It has adhesive on the back, which is that white piece that I took off, but I use my art glitter glue. I'm not like using like it looks like a lot, but I'm not squeezing it that hard. And then I'm just going to press that down. And then I had some foam on my purple flower, so that way it gives it a little bit of height. And that's me. I was just trying to hit from underneath because it was doing a little bit of warping. And then I'm just going to use the art glitter glue to put down the picture perfect. And then these butterflies, I like to be able to bend my wings. So on some of these, if they have too much of that white, I just do a quick trim as close to the butterfly's head as I can, still leaving a little bit of that white border, but then it allows me to be able to bend my wings a lot easier. So I'm just going to put glue just in the center and then lay it flat and let that adhere, and that'll allow me, if I want to, pick my wings up, give it a little dimension. But if you're putting it into a sleeve, you can lay them down, you know, push down the leaves and they'll lay flat. The only way you'll have a problem is if you put something underneath the leaves that keep it like lifted up. Now that little flower on the side, once I put it down, I'm going to flip it over here and trim the edge so that way it's not hanging off on the side, and it looks like it's flush. And I like how that looks like it's coming out from the photo. And then we're going to grab the other one, and it's a little bit smaller, so I'm going to do the same thing. It's just going to be an even thinner little strip that I'm cutting. But like I said, I love the fact that it allows me to kind of give the wings some movement instead of them being just super flat. And if you want to lay them down flat, go for it. It's all in what, you know, makes you happy. That's the best part about scrapbooking. Whenever I help people or they ask me questions about how do you do this, you know, how do you do that, it's like we all know and can learn the basics, but it really is just gut instinct. And at the end of the day, when you think about who's going to be going through these, you're doing it most of the time for yourself. If you like how it looks, then who cares what anybody else says? You know what I mean? If you like mismatched colors that other people like, those don't go together, do it. You gotta do what makes you happy. That's the only way that to me, the layout really does come out and come alive because of what we creatively put into it. You know what I mean? So I got that bottom ephemera. I'm gonna put some glue underneath of it and put it down here towards the bottom. Now, what I was doing before when I was on my little soapbox, I put down some of the buttons, and I realized I wanted to put that bigger button down there, and then I was like, no, I'm gonna put it up here so it's closer to my other two, so you get more of that visual, you know, it's kind of like framing the photo. 1, 2, 3, it's framing that photo. And I put a little bit of the glue because it's going on top of that gesso. The other two I kind of put on top of the sticker, and then the other one I put on top of the black trim, so I didn't have to worry about it. Now that butterfly I did just glue down, and I realize now that I didn't put any glue behind it, but it's okay because it's kind of like meant to be hidden under the photo a little bit. And I was looking for, because I lost a heart, I think it was, but we'll come back to that. Alright, so I'm going to put some of the stars down. And I don't mind, I like using a little bit of the glue with the stickers, the ones from the sticker sheet, because I think sometimes that adhesive back isn't as strong as I would like it, so I like to add a little bit to it. Okay, so we're adding the hearts, which have that little bit of that foil, that little shimmer. And we're going to accent each of the little cluster areas. And I think I wind up doing 4 of the hearts. I only did that because one of them fell on the floor and it was being a pain in the butt for me to pick up. So you are going to see a little cut here because I was not going to have you guys sit through me trying to pick up this stupid heart. So I put that down and we're going to keep moving. Alright, so I just put down 2 glue dots, or little dots of glue, and I'm putting here some of the round um, puffy stickers. They're from like one of that sheet with the sentiment where I got that. So I'm just putting down my dots of glue, and then I'm grabbing 3 of the um, circles. I did with each set, I did one with the heart in the center and then 2 other colors, trying to bring in, because I had that green star, so I tried to bring in some of the green that matches the plaid pinks and the plummy color. And this one I think I used the blue because I had that little bit of blue in the heart, so I wanted to, you know, bring that out some. And then of course, because sometimes it's just never enough, you gotta grab another star, another another something, you know. And you know, because then I was like, okay, well there's only 2 things of blue up there, let me bring in another blue, because I like that dark navy blue, but I don't want to do it all over the place. So that's why, you know, we got the 2 up at the top, the heart at the bottom, or not the heart at the bottom, the star at the bottom, if I said heart. And then I got a green star I'm putting up there. It's a little bit darker than that lighter green. And let me see. I'm trying to see. I think I add that sticker, yeah. I add one more of the little bit darker plum sticker right there. And then I like to use too the like words or phrases on my layouts. Sometimes I do that because I don't always journal. So sometimes I just like to have those sayings or sentiments or whatever it is. It kind of becomes the journaling part for me. So let's see. Because I have it here in front of me, I'll tell you. Okay, so that pink one I'm putting up at the top, it says family. This white one that I'm going to glue at the bottom says together. And then I'm going to wind up grabbing the Tim Holtz sticker books. I think this one is Small Talk. And I should have read through it from the beginning and then had my sticker chosen. But sometimes that's what happens when you're just in the moment trying to figure out what you want to do. And there's so many sayings and sentiments within this book, but I wind up choosing life is good, friends, and one that says create, because the life is good one is from this book, um, and then I grab one where it's just, I think it's the large ones. Lord, see, it would help if I kept everything right where I needed it. Yeah, Big Chat is the collection where I get the words friends and create from. So I'm just putting a little bit of glue behind this sticker, and I wanted to put it up at the top. And then I'm going to grab that Big Chat. Okay. And with that Big Chat, I'm going to go through and grab those 2 words. Like I said, the one was friends, and the other, I wind up grabbing create, and I'm going to put it over on the right hand side of the photo. I'm going to turn it on its side, and that way I have 3 of them. Because you can even do that, like with these little sentiments and stuff. You can make it a whole big strip and create your own sentence. You can, yeah, you can use different sentiments from, like, you know how I used it from that sticker sheet and from this, and create a message or a sentiment that way. Um, I just wanted to use the words themselves, so that's why I'm trying to figure out. I think I wind up just saying, yeah, I'm going to grab create. So I'm going to put the family or friends down at the bottom, and then I'm going to grab that create and put it on the right hand side. Because I was thinking I wanted creative. I wanted the word creative. But of course, they didn't have that word in that sheet. And I probably could have grabbed a stamp set, found a word creative or something, and stamped it over on the side. But I decided create is fine. And I'm just going to put it over here to the side. So it gives me those type of labels in 3 spots. Once again, creating a little triangle. Alright, y'all. So after I did that, I'm like, I'm done. I'm ready to put down my title. So once again, it's one of those stickers, sticky words. But I'm still going to grab the art glitter glue and just dab around to give it that little extra adhesion. Because I don't think I went over that far with the white gesso, but just in case, I want to make sure I had some stuff down. And bear with me, you guys. You might hear me kind of shuffling around while I'm doing the voiceover. I apologize. Alright, so once that's done and down, we're going to grab the fun, and I'm going to try and, with this, I don't push them down right away, but I'm just trying to figure out exactly where I want the fun to go. And I realized, okay, that T is going to be in my way. So now I know I need to put it up just a little bit. And move it over and start it from the first T. So then that way the fun is spaced closer together and it kind of snuggles between the 2 T's. And then I'm going to glue this one down. Now you're probably thinking, gee, you didn't put any gesso on top of that piece. Why are you using the glue? Same idea. It's sticker backed, but I just want to make sure it stays down. Alright. And then I was going to pick up that star and kind of move it, but I was like, you know what? It's okay. Sometimes you just got to live with your decisions. Alright, so now I'm going to grab my Tim Holtz ruler and I'm going to start laying down some journaling lines, because I have found that by having the lines, it helps me with my journaling, even though I don't know how you guys feel, but I personally hate my own handwriting. I know people say it's very important because whoever sees this, when I'm gone, it'll be my own handwriting and they get to read what I put. I just hate my handwriting. I just hate it. So I try really hard. I try to print. If I do get a little cursive-y or, writing messily, sometimes I'll hide it. Do like a hidden pocket with a little journaling tab or something like that. So that way it doesn't mess up how the layout looks, and it still has some journaling. But on this one, I'm just going to grab my Pentel pen. I like how the ink looks and it doesn't smear. So I'm just going to go ahead and write my story, and I'm just writing about when it was took, the picture, about my favorite things, and um, that it's the first, I got to hang out with my best friend, I think I said, and we got to see snow on the same trip. How exciting. and this was the Saturday, so this was the big creative fun day because it was all day, and we got to party. And then at the end, I also mentioned, because my mom came with me on the trip, she was my co-pilot on the ride up, so I just put down that she was a great riding partner. And then I think I had to add a couple of lines because I didn't put enough, because I had more that I wanted to say. I think I put down one line and then I wind up having to do another one. So, yeah, because I had more to say. For someone who didn't want to journal, I obviously had a lot that I wanted to put down. So silly. Alright, and we're just going to finish up filling this out. And then for me, I always pretty much splatter on all of my layouts. Sometimes I don't, it just depends. But I love how the splatters makes it feel like it's the period at the end of the sentence for me. I love that it's what it does, what it creates. If splatters aren't your thing, then don't do them. But it's something that I like. And I always splatter in threes as well. Sometimes I may splatter in just one. It just depends. Oh, I'm doing my date right here. And it's going to say January 18th of 2020. So, and I just stamp twice, and then I tried a third one. It's okay. Just to give it like some layering. And technically, our layout is done. That is our completed project. But, like I said, I can't stop there. So I'm going to grab two colors, the black and white, um, from the Distress line, the white picket fence, and the black soot. And I'm also going to use that Heidi Swap, the gold color shine. And we're going to do some splatters. And I always take the nozzle out and use a tool to kind of tap on it to get my splatters. And I'm going to try and steal from my bestie and do a little bit more controlled, because I can go crazy. I'm not going to lie. I can go nut buddy with the splatters. It's very easy. But I'm trying to contain myself. And believe it or not, this is me a little more contained. Okay? So I hit the white, especially up at the top, because it's got the darker colors. And then I'm going to also hit with the black, because I could have gone crazier with the black. I get a little extra splatter there. Yeah. I just love splatters. I don't know what it is. It's sort of like the sequin craze, when everybody was putting sequins on everything, and I still could do that as well, but splatters have become my new sequins. It's like, that's the end. It's complete now, okay? Until I go, well, I like the black and white, but I need some of that gold. Some of that gold got covered up, so let me hit it again. Because even though there's that, I did use some of the more coppery color gold, because that's part of the foiling in that particular Truly Grateful collection. Using the yellow gold of the uh, Heidi Swap spray is not a bad thing. It's not like, because it's not like a crazy shiny gold, and so it all works together. See, look at me, can't stop. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you guys have been having a great weekend. All the scrappy fun that Michelle has been planning and having with everybody. I hope everyone is enjoying it. I know we all wish we could get together, but in these times, we can still get together and enjoy our community and each other, even uh, far away. Because I'm in North Carolina. I know my bestie, she's up in New Jersey, so is Michelle and them. So we're all together, okay? So make sure you stay safe, stay creative, keep having fun, and get into all those entries. They have so many entries for these weekends. Oh, and I wanted to show you, look, this is all the stuff, there's still plenty. I mean, how many more layouts can I make with this stuff, right? Because that packet is like 48 sheets or 36 sheets. It's something. There's a lot of sheets of paper in there. So tons of fun to be had. Okay. Thank you guys. Normally, I would have more information down below, and what I will do is I will put links to my little scrapbook store, their Facebook, and their online website down in the more section. So if you guys want to go and shop, you'll have a quick link. And I wish I could have been here with you guys live, but I hope you enjoyed this video and the close-ups of everything. I really had a good time playing with the scrappy bag. You get so much stuff in it, and they're so much fun. They're really worth the money. They really are. So much creativity in a bag, really. They could call it the creativity bags. Because you can do so much with it. All right, you guys, I'm going to let you go. You have a great evening and enjoy your weekend. Bye.